So welcome guys to Real and Revealed. Like we promised in our previous episode, today we are here to discuss on how to plan to shoot a documentary. Last week we were in Bungoma with my brother Pablo. Hey,
kudos.
How are you, my brother?
Mi mpaka bado miguu zinauma.
You know guys, we were in Cheptais and this guy in Gampus climbing hills. It was crazy.
Cheptais Hills in Bungoma County.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed that documentary because, that circle is helping guys there to plant trees.
Exactly.
So it's a good initiative that they are running down there. But I really enjoyed that particular documentary production.
It was an experience that most of us, we are used to shooting in Nairobi, Nakuru, kienda mbali, Kiambu, Murang'a hapa. But Bungoma, that's just another level.
Yeah, and so I think that for that experience, we would like to share about how to plan to shoot a documentary because it takes planning. You know, there is an old adage that says failing to plan
is actually planning to fail.
To fail, yeah.
Exactly.
So you need to plan properly, and when you're doing a documentary, you do something known as a pre-production.
Now that you've mentioned that, and you are the guru in documentaries.
Yeah.
And, for me, I'm more into photography.
Right.
And for us, photography in terms of there's a lot of difference when it comes to documentaries, events. It's just how you capture that image is where there's slight difference. But I know when it comes to filming, there's a big difference when you're doing documentaries and when you're doing, for example, corporate events or social events. So, Ebutu, you have experience in this thing. Tell us more. How do you even start? A client calls you and tells you, Musa, how are you? I have been told you're good in documentaries. And of course the answer is, I am the best in the industry. But after you hang up that, what goes through your mind in terms of planning for this thing?
Yeah, you see, when you're planning to shoot a documentary, you need to understand the story because you're not the one telling the story. The client knows what the story is all about. And so for you to clearly understand that, you need a briefing with the client, yeah?
No.
You sit down with them for a brief on what is your objective, what do you want to come out in this particular documentary. Like the one we were doing for Cheptais, the client was keen to hear voices of the beneficiaries who are farmers, talk about how planting trees has changed the landscape in that particular place. So first thing is to understand the story, and that comes out only from the client's mouth, yeah? And I think also in photography, you discuss with clients to understand what do they expect.
Exactly. And, for example, in events, corporate events, you're told you need to take a photo of the person speaking. But when it comes to documentary, you do not have so much control in terms of positioning your subject. And when I talk about the subject can be a person. The subject can be a tree. For example, in Cheptais, one of the main subject was the trees planted. So you can't tell a tree, simama hivi, do this, put your leaves like this. If the wind is blowing, it's you to figure it out. The subject can be a tank, a school or something. So it's also different when it comes to photographing documentary. Yes. So what are those things that you need to plan for when you want to do a documentary?
Yeah, so after now understanding the story from the client, documentaries are factual and they are guided by talk heads. Interviewees who speak in the documentary will provide information. You will also do a research so that you're able to do like a voiceover about that particular topic. So after understanding the story, I think the next thing you need to understand is now who tells the story. And in this case, you need to align who are the interviewees, yeah?
Exactly.
Like, are they officials? Are they like beneficiaries or people in the ground? And I think that's what we also did for Cheptais, huh?
Exactly.
For farmers, we knew this particular person will speak and they'll talk about how as a group they were benefiting from this particular tree planting project.
Exactly.
And then I think briefing is very important, yeah? Yeah, it's very important to tell people we'll come to next week on Tuesday. We'll be filming you, so you need to prepare yourself and expect us to come.
But then you've said a very good point, in that you prepare your client or the people who you're going to interview, because majority of us, we are very confident and saying, mbele ya camera, mi niko sawa, I can do it. But the moment that camera is actually in front of you, and somebody tells you, now start talking, vitu sijui zinaendanga hapi kwa mind. They get lost. You're like, what are they supposed to talk about? Ebu turudia hapo. So you've said a very key point, in that briefing your client or your subjects is very key, telling them there'll be this, there'll be a camera, you'll be told to talk and just be as ordinary as possible, so that the story comes out as natural as possible. I like that point.
And I've seen actually in documentaries, you'll find like people begin with a common question, introduce yourself, and maybe your position or your role or your part in this particular project, and then from there now you go to deeper issues of that particular documentary. But then there comes a challenge, language barrier.
Ooh, where?
Yes. How do you go about that?
That's just a different ball game, because watu wa Nairobi, we are used to our English and polished Kiswahili, and you're here in, for example, in Cheptais, and you're interviewing an elderly person, and their English and Kiswahili are like this.
Actually, those guys, you find some of them will speak in their local mother tongue.
Yes.
And you're not conversant with this. And you came with an English script. You see, it becomes a problem.
Very true. And that's where now you need to, the part of the planning process is understanding what is the native language that is being spoken there. And it's good to have an interpreter, so that when your subject does not understand the language that you're talking, there's somebody to help you in terms of interpreting between yourself to the interpreter to your subject and vice versa, so that all of you are in sync. And then now the where the rubber meets the road, the gear.
Wow, yeah, the gear.
That's where now the rubber meets the road.
Because now as you tell the story, of course, you need the cameras, and you need to do the right thing. So when you come to gear, again, most documentaries will find they do a single camera shoot, because you have retakes. It's directed, so you'll have take and retake, because you're getting different kinds of shot, long shot, medium shots, maybe B-rolls, cutaways, and all that. So most of them you'll find is like a single camera type of shoot. But even if you're deciding to take 2 or 3 cameras, you need to make sure that you're carrying professional cameras.
Let me ask a question. You talk about professional camera.
Yes.
And me, I will not say my phone.
Okay.
But me and my phone, I believe it is professional. I believe my phone is professional. I will not talk about the brand. But what do you actually mean when you talk about professional cameras?
By professional, we mean when you're using this particular camera, because there are so many brands outside there, you look at the resolutions of that particular camera. Is it crisp or clear? But that said, it doesn't suffice to say that you also need lights. You also need lights, because lights illuminate subjects, whether it is indoor or outdoor. You need lights and professional lighting, like 3-point kind of lightings. They make your subjects look nice, whether it's somebody being done an interview in an office or maybe out in a farm. You need lighting. Lighting is in 2 ways. You have the natural light, the sunlight, and you have the artificial lights where you use the portable kind of lights.
But there's something you've said about 3-point lighting. Just help me understand a little bit about 3-point. Okay. Does it mean that you align them? I have no idea. I am a photographer.
You see, 3-point lighting, you basically have 3 types of lights that are set separately. So you have one main light that is facing the subject. That is the key light, So the key light illuminates the subject. The fill light is like on the side. And then to remove that particular shadow and, of course, separate the subject from the background, you have the backlight. Especially when you're doing like in an office setup. But sometimes budget differ.
True.
Yeah, so if you don't have the 3-point lighting, it doesn't mean you're not going to work.
And we'll talk about the budget, but
Yeah.
I know that's a very big elephant.
It is a big elephant.
And we cannot just mention it kidogo and leave it, because at the end of the day, unless unafanya kazi ya karai, you intend to get paid. You intend to get paid.
Yeah.
So that is important. But what are some of the challenges? I know right now you're just talking about the basics.
Okay.
What are some of the challenges that you may encounter when you are doing your planning?
Okay.
Because right now you're just planning for our documentary.
Okay.
What are those challenges?
So in terms of challenges, that's why we said from the beginning that if you fail to plan, you're going to plan to fail terribly, because you never planned it. You may decide like you're going to do interviews next week, and then you find you did not inform your subjects, only to appear there and they tell you, I'm engaged. You never told me you're coming.
Exactly.
So you see, it's a wasted day.
Yes.
So it's good that you prep them early in advance. But other challenges that you may find is if you never go for a recce or a reconnaissance, where you like visit the site physically and see how it is set up, these challenges will come in. One, you may decide to carry maybe your 3-point kind of lighting, or maybe your single light that you're going to bounce on the roof if you're going to do indoors, only to find that the place you're going, maybe there is a blackout, there's no lights, or maybe there is no light at all in the village in Amanyata. You don't find lights.
Hakuna stima huko.
Hakuna stima, though there are people who have solar, but then it's raining right now, so the solar is flat. There is no power.
Oh yeah, it's pretty raining in Nairobi where we are.
So I think one of the biggest challenges is power, and to overcome that, you need to have some backup. So like if you're using cameras, of course you'll have to carry extra batteries, so that if you're going to a remote place, one drains off, you use the next one. You also need to ensure that if you're using lighting, and there are portable kinds of light, if you do not have power to the place where you're going, you can carry the portable battery. It is known as a V-mount, whereby you just plug it at the back of the light and the subject is illuminated. So that's how you overcome it. Then the third one is the sound, my friend. Good visual and no sound. Does it make sense?
Hakuna kitu.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
That's now where you spoil the soup. Good visuals and bad audio. That's the problem.
Nobody will even listen to whatever you did. So what you've said is very important, that we need to have lighting. We need to have sound. These days, sound has really evolved.
Yes.
And they are wireless microphones. We have a very nice microphone here, but I don't think I can go with this.
No, this is just for podcast. This is for podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's important to do your research and know which kind of mic that you're going to carry. And I know majority of our viewers, there's always the question that they always ask, which camera is a good one? Which camera is the good one, or which camera is the best to do, for example, documentary? What do you have to say about that?
I think that's a long topic. We will look at it in one of our episodes, because you are our master of your tool.
Exactly.
The tool you are using, as long as it is classified as professional, now mastering how to use it is another thing. The settings where they are, the ISOs, the shutter speed, the temperatures, if you have not mastered your equipment, you may not still deliver if you're going to do a documentary, because you don't know where to adjust. So it's good that you understand the equipment that you are using, so that you're able to deliver. And I've also found another challenge that you find when you're going to do documentaries, of failing even to plan for your logistics.
Very key.
You're going to chapterize, you don't know you're going to sleep.
You're going to walk.
You're just going there.
Ulale chini ya mti.
Chini ya mti.
I tell you.
You find all hotels there are booked. You have no place to spend.
Exactly.
So it's good that you also book the place you are going to spend if you are going to shoot in a remote place, so that you don't find yourself again sleeping under a tree, like you're saying, and then a lion comes.
And you start doing a documentary of a lion.
Yeah.
That's very nice. As we conclude on this, I know you're still doing the planning.
Yes.
What are some of the tips that you would tell our viewers in terms of just planning? We've not gone to the actual now doing, but it's just now the planning. What are maybe 1 or 2 tips that you can advise upcoming guys and whoever does that?
So number 1 tip, always understand the story, because when you go to execute, you will get the right shots. In terms of 1, the interviews that you're going to conduct, you'll be able to probe a subject to release or speak out the information that you want to come out, so that they don't give you a one answer response, and when you come to edit, you find that it is not useful. So you should be able to extract information that will be used when you're editing. Then when you are doing, like when you're posing questions, do a lead-in question, so that they rephrase the question but now respond it in a way that you can go and edit, rather than straight away respond to that particular question. You also need to carry the gear that you need and make sure that the gear is functional. In terms of the batteries are working well, the cards are able to record, the lights are working, so that you don't get to the ground and you find that equipments are not working. It's a very disappointing, and it portrays one being not professional when you are on site and the client is asking, what's the problem?
Exactly.
And your camera is not recording. It's not good. So you need to prepare properly so that you're able to deliver. But I think those are just a few tips. As you go to the ground, I know you're going to be able to deliver if you are now able to even apply the tips that you've already shared.
Fantastic. Yeah. And guys, this is just the planning process.
It is the planning process.
We are just planning.
Yeah.
We've not yet gone to... There's still a bit more that we are going to discuss in terms of a documentary, but this is just planning. And as always, subscribe to our channel so that when we post, you get everything. Remember, we are here to reveal, and we are as real as we can. Subscribe to our channel and see you as we come back. Thank you.